Today's episode of Talk Gaming comes to us by YouTube subscriber Finn101M for the best rock and roll music this side of the mountain of the country of the world that you live in. Finn101M. Talk Gaming, episode 04. A short discussion in regards to gaming's biggest dirty secret. What may that secret be exactly? Well, it's the hottest thing to do these days. It's emulation, sad face. Ooh. Emulation, sad face. Emulation. It's one of those hot topics. It's not a hot topic. It's one of those crazy topics. It's not that crazy. It's one of the weirdest topics. I'm the bartender. So, my thoughts on emulation are simple. Emulation is a form of imitation, which is a wonderful thing. Unfortunately, for many video game reviewers, a lot of people imitate a lot of other people, and it turns into just a muck of a muck, and it's just an awful mess. Emulation. Now, emulation, I think, is a very viable means to play games that you may have never had a chance to play. I, of course, am talking about Nintendo emulation, Sega Master System emulation, pretty much classic gaming emulation. That is the definitive discussion topic here. As far as current emulation, of course you can't currently emulate a goddamn Wii on a 360. Maybe someday, but you can't. So, Nintendo emulation. You get to play Nintendo games you weren't able to play back in the day. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you can play the emulation on a computer. Sometimes you can play the emulation on a burnt PlayStation 2 disc once it's modded. Or if you get the disc and you put it in there, and the old ways to hack stuff. Or you can, play emulation through the Wii. So it's like the Nintendo's basically saying, here's emulation. Emulation. It's a dirty, dirty word. Emulation gives you the ability to play games that you haven't. Think of it as a demo. Now, I would play some ROMs back in the day just to see how a certain game, could have been. And, I made some very critical decisions on emulation. I was able to purchase some games because of emulation, and I was able to avoid certain games because of emulation. Or as I will now call it for the rest of this video, the Big E. So the Big E is something that I, as a gamer, legally I can't say it's great, and I can't condone it. So if you are watching this, do not emulate. Got it? Don't. Obvious wink. Do I emulate now? Not really. I pretty much know what I want. I do my, I go to the card catalog at the library. I look up old books, I do my research is what I'm basically trying to tell you. And the bottom line is, emulation is just a simpler means to play older games, sometimes on newer systems. Like I said, Nintendo has like the official, here's some Nintendo games that we're releasing through the Wii Shop Network, blah, 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 boom. It's a Nintendo emulating an old Nintendo. It's not like there's a Nintendo built into the Wii where you put the goddamn game in it. Ramble on! Anyway, in closing, the Big E, do it. I'd like to hear your suggestions. I'd like to hear your feedback, obviously, about this video. What is your perception of emulation? Do you think it's holy? Do you think it's hellish? Do you think anything? Voice your comments, your concerns, and anything that might trigger a thought in your head below here. Below. Also, if you have any suggestions for super excellent episodes of the Talk Gaming to be coming ahead, Obviously, your feedback is much appreciated, and I would love to hear what you would like me to discuss. Whether it be something over here, something over there, something up here, something down there, something around here. I will talk about what you want me to talk about. But you got to tell me what you want to talk about. And like I said, thanks to Finn101M, emulation was the hotbed topic today. And to give you my honest opinion, emulation is a very cheap form of, like I said, playing old games. Gives you the ability to play games that you never got a chance to. See what all the hocus and pocus was about certain games. And emulation on current consoles. Let's say you have a hacked 360. Hey, sometimes it's easier just to play a ROM than to dig out the old Nintendo and hook it up. Because on these new TVs, sometimes they don't look that good. You need that old tube to make the old TV have the hookups for the old systems. So that's the big E. I'm the bartender. Talk Gaming 04. And this is it. Woo-wop. Please.